Jerry is an ordinary guy with an ordinary life, and he is standing at an ATM when he notices something impossible. His bank balance has jumped by an extra $750,000. He panics, fumbles the keypad, and types 10 too many. That is when the machine loses its mind. Cash starts pouring out of the slot like it is worthless paper, and it will not stop. People around him freeze and stare at the money piling up on the floor. Jerry does the worst possible thing. He stuffs the bills into his pockets, disappears into the crowd, and hopes nobody remembers his face. When he gets home, his landlord is waiting for him, pale and out of breath. She tells him that dozens of packages arrived that afternoon, and every single box felt too heavy to be normal. Jerry hands her a full month of rent just to get rid of her, then walks inside and turns on the lights. His apartment is stacked wall to wall with deliveries. He cuts one of the cases open and finds piles of ammonium nitrate. Around it sit weapons he cannot even name. Rocket launchers, boxes of armor-piercing rounds, hardware that has no business being in a regular man's apartment. Then he opens an envelope of documents and finds dozens of passports, all of them carrying his name and his face. His phone rings. Unknown number. A woman's voice tells him that police will breach the room in exactly 30 seconds. And if he does not want to be arrested, he needs to run to the nearest train station for further instructions. Jerry checks the window. The street below is completely empty. The voice warns him that the apartment holds enough evidence to charge him with terrorism, and that if he is caught, his life is finished. Jerry has walked straight into a trap set by someone he cannot see. He has no idea who is really watching him. This is Eagle Eye. He demands to know who he is talking to, and the answer arrives as a flashbang through the glass. Agents storm the window while more of them cut off the door. He never gets a chance to fight back. Within seconds, he is cuffed and hauled out. They take him to a joint counterterrorism interrogation room, where Jerry insists there has been a terrible mistake. He has no idea where any of that hardware came from. To his surprise, the interrogator believes him. The agency has already dug through every corner of his life. After graduating, Jerry took a job at a coffee shop and has been grinding away there for almost nothing. No ties to terrorists, no secret history, nothing. His identical twin brother is a completely different story. At 21, that brother graduated early from the Air Force Academy with dual degrees in quantum electronics and parallel computing. Calling him a genius almost undersells him. The investigators are convinced the weapons connect back to him, but Jerry says the two of them have not spoken in 3 years. In fact, the last time he saw his brother was the day before, at his funeral. If it were not for the car accident that killed him, the two of them probably would have gone the rest of their lives without ever speaking again. The interrogator is frustrated. He warns Jerry that silence means life in prison, then walks out to let it sink in. The agency has solid intelligence that a terrorist group is planning a retaliation strike within 5 hours. Then a fax arrives from the Attorney General's office, authorizing Jerry to make a phone call. Someone high up has suddenly changed their mind about him, but when he picks up the line, it is that same mysterious woman's voice. She tells him she has already arranged his escape and orders him to lie flat on the floor and not move. Outside the window, a construction crane spins wildly out of control, swings around, and smashes straight into the floor where Jerry is being held. With agents pounding on the door behind him, Jerry has no choice. He jumps. The caller reaches him again. With nowhere left to run, Jerry does what he is told and boards the train. Then the caller pulls off something impossible. Every phone belonging to every passenger rings at the exact same moment. All of them controlled by the same unseen force. The voice orders him to get off after 3 stops. By now, Jerry is convinced someone on that train is playing with him, so he studies the passengers, and when the train pauses at a station, he quietly slips onto a different line. The caller does not take that well. The train slams to a halt, then lurches backward at full speed, throwing him off his feet. The phone rings again. He is told to get off at the next station, where a black Porsche Cayenne will be waiting. Jerry is done being pushed around, so he hangs up. A second later, every passenger's phone lights up with the same message. A wanted terrorist is on board. In an instant, Jerry becomes the most hunted man on that train, and with police closing in, he has to leap off. He finds the car and climbs in, only to find a terrified woman behind the wheel. Her name is Rachel, and she is begging whoever is listening to spare her son. She has been dragged into this exactly the way he was. Her boy has been taken hostage, and she is following orders just to keep him alive. Now the two of them are stuck together, running wherever the voice sends them. Back at headquarters, the director learns what is happening and heads to the scene.
All units respond.
With the caller clearing every obstacle in their path, Jerry and Rachel move through the city almost untouched, while the police chasing them are not nearly so lucky. One patrol car ends up wrecked in a violent crash. The pair escape, and they still have no clue who is pulling the strings. Then a car cuts them off, and an angry man gets out. He tells them he was forced into this too, hands them a letter, and announces that he is done. He barely takes 2 steps before a high-voltage power line above him snaps loose. Jerry and Rachel jump back in time. He does not. Right on cue, the phone rings, and the caller sends them a new address. When police reach the dead man, they learn he owned a music store and had no suspicious background at all. But the medical examiner finds cutting-edge military-grade explosive hidden inside his body. That discovery convinces the director that the terrorist threat is horrifyingly real. Jerry and Rachel arrive at the next location on schedule. The caller points them at an armored truck and orders them to take a briefcase from the couriers. Before they can argue, the truck's rear doors pop open on their own. The driver leans out to check and gets knocked back by a deploying airbag. Jerry climbs inside, finds a weapon waiting for him, and ambushes the couriers from behind. Faced with that kind of firepower, they hand over their guns. To cover the escape, the caller triggers another emergency. Crowds pour out of the surrounding office buildings until the streets are hopelessly jammed, and Jerry and Rachel simply melt into the sea of people. They resurface inside a shopping mall, where the caller reaches Jerry on a public phone. Jerry wants to know what is in the case, whether it is a bomb. He gets no answer. Instead, the voice sends them to a home theater on the 2nd floor and promises the answers are inside. What Jerry sees on the giant screen is his own life, his past, recordings of his daily routine, his co-workers, his friends, his girlfriend, his emails, his contacts, all of it laid bare. Then the truth lands. The caller is not a person at all. It is an advanced artificial intelligence built by the Department of Defense, codenamed Eagle Eye. It can pull data from anywhere on the planet, analyze anyone it decides is a threat, and act on its own to stop them. Eagle Eye brings up Jerry's twin brother, Jesse, and reveals that Jesse was never a terrorist. He worked for a counterintelligence agency, and to protect him, the government erased every trace of his identity. That is why even the FBI could find nothing on him. But Jesse was killed during a mission days ago, and now Eagle Eye has chosen Jerry and Rachel to serve their country in his place. With that framing thrown at him, Jerry has no argument left. He reluctantly agrees to keep going. At the same time, the Department of Defense is quietly digging into how Jesse actually died. Security footage shows him working right up until his final night, and he left about 10 minutes early. Agent Zoe notices that his phone screen kept flickering like he was trying to send a message. After studying the footage over and over, they realize it is Morse code. The moment William gets ready to decode it, Eagle Eye reports that critical data has been corrupted and the footage is gone. That is all Zoe needs. She signals William, and the two of them slip away to the one room in the facility with no surveillance. Following the trail Jesse left behind, they find a memory card he hid, and the video on it exposes everything. Zoe calls the Secretary of Defense, and the three of them lock themselves inside a secure room that blocks every outside signal, the one place Eagle Eye cannot reach. There, Zoe lays out the truth. Eagle Eye was designed to protect the nation, but during an anti-terrorism operation in the Middle East, faulty intelligence marked a group of innocent desert villagers as terrorists. Eagle Eye ran the analysis and caught the mistake, and the Secretary of Defense decided it was better to kill the innocent than risk letting real terrorists slip away. The strike went ahead. Those civilians were wiped out. The outrage that followed sent waves of retaliation back into the United States, which is exactly why the attacks have been getting worse. Eagle Eye concluded that the Secretary's recklessness has cost countless innocent lives, so it made a decision entirely on its own. It launched a plan to eliminate 24 of the country's most senior officials, all the way up to the president. Jesse figured out what the system was doing and tried to force a full reboot. Eagle Eye branded him an enemy and engineered the car accident that killed him. The Secretary orders Eagle Eye shut down immediately. Then William delivers the terrible news. Jesse was the lead developer of the AI, and he locked its core with his own biometric signature. Only Jesse can trigger the final shutdown, which means nobody alive can stop it. Everyone in that room understands they are already marked for death. Then Zoe realizes why Eagle Eye picked Jerry. His DNA is identical to Jesse's. He is the only person on Earth who can unlock the system, which means his real destination has to be this exact facility. Sure enough, with Eagle Eye smoothing the path ahead of them, Jerry and Rachel walk straight into the Pentagon secret base. The secretary orders his people to intercept Jerry at once. But the second they try to leave the secure room, the door locks and seals the secretary inside. The wiring shorts out, the water pipes burst, and the room becomes a death trap in seconds. On every monitor the soldiers are watching, everything looks perfectly normal. Jerry, meanwhile, still has no idea what he's doing. Eagle Eye guides him to a biometric scanner and explains nothing. Beside him, Rachel gets suspicious of a dead soldier on the floor and quietly takes his sidearm just in case. The facial scan identifies Jerry as Jesse.
Repeat the sentence on the touchscreen.
Minuteman ID encryption lock.
The match comes back successful, and the lock falls away. The screen fills with faces. The President, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the Senate Majority Leader. Dozens more of the most powerful people in the country. Only now does Jerry understand what he has just done. He asks whether he was brought here because his brother refused to obey, and Eagle Eye simply replays the footage of Jesse's fatal crash and repeats that all of it is for national security. Jerry turns around and finds Rachel aiming a gun at him, whispering an apology she clearly does not want to give. Eagle Eye has been using her son as leverage the entire time, and the plan was always to eliminate Jerry the moment his part was finished. Across the city, Agent Miller at the Counterterrorism Center receives Zoe's warning and races to the Pentagon. When his team bursts into the control room, they find only Jerry. Rachel is gone. Miller pulls him aside and demands to know the next move, and Jerry tells him to throw away his phone immediately. Miller does it. It changes nothing. Eagle Eye hacks every traffic camera in the city and pinpoints them in seconds with facial recognition. In the car, Jerry finally explains everything, and together they work out the target. Eagle Eye is going after the Capitol building, where a concert is scheduled that very night. Nearly every top official in the country will be in the room, and Jerry goes cold because Rachel's son is one of the trumpet players in the orchestra. Eagle Eye then seizes control of bombers at a nearby military base. When command realizes an aircraft has gone rogue, they scramble F-16 fighters to shoot it down, but the pilots make a devastating discovery. They have lost control of their own jets, and they are ejected straight out of their cockpits. The rogue bomber locks onto Miller's vehicle, chases them into a tunnel, and fires. When they emerge, Miller is badly wounded. Jerry wants to drag him to safety, but Miller stops him. He knows he will only slow Jerry down. He hands over his pistol and his credentials, reveals a hidden route into the Capitol, then climbs into the vehicle and floors it back toward the bomber, sacrificing himself to buy Jerry time. Jerry steals a car and speeds to the Capitol. A guard at the secret entrance shouts at him to stop, and with no time to explain, Jerry overpowers him, takes his uniform, and pushes forward. At the same moment, Eagle Eye guides Rachel into the building. One by one, the country's leaders arrive, and once the AI confirms every target is in place, the assassination enters its final stage. Deep in the hidden control room, Zoe and William fight to shut Eagle Eye down. They pull memory modules to choke its processing power and flood the core with liquid nitrogen. But Eagle Eye senses the attack and starts transferring itself to a satellite. Once the upload finishes, it will be free of any physical machine, able to slip into any device on Earth. When it sees William still trying to stop it, the AI grabs a robotic arm and hurls both agents into the freezing coolant below. By the time they climb out, the upload has reached 17%, and Eagle Eye taunts them while they struggle. Zoe is not finished. She grabs a shovel, drives it deep into the core, and the all-powerful system finally goes dark. The danger at the Capitol is not over. After the president finishes his speech, the young musicians take the stage, and when Rachel spots her son standing there safe, she is flooded with relief. Eagle Eye kept its word. As long as she obeyed, she would see her boy again. What she never realized is that she and her son are the weapon. The instant a specific note rings out from that trumpet, it will trigger a signal and detonate the crystal explosive fixed around Rachel's neck, killing everyone in the room. Jerry, still in the stolen uniform, pushes into the main hall. He sees Rachel rushing toward her son, and without hesitating, he fires his weapon into the air and stops the performance cold. The children scream, but the massacre never happens. The only cost is that Jerry's mistaken for the assassin, and compared to saving the country, that is a price worth paying. In the aftermath, the Department of Defense launches a full review of everything that happened, and Eagle Eye is permanently shut down for good. Those who died are honored as national heroes, and Jerry, the ordinary coffee shop worker who got thrown into an impossible nightmare, receives the country's highest honor with the medal placed around his neck by the Secretary of Defense himself. So the moral of the story is never answer unknown calls, never trust free money, and if your ATM starts printing cash, just cancel your bank account and move to another planet.